Another day, another unexpected signing as the Chicago Bulls continue to fill out their training camp roster by signing EJ Lidell. This is a player that I was extremely high on in the year he came out of the draft. And I'm excited to see him try to make the Chicago Bulls team, maybe even end up on that G League team. But we're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content. So the Chicago Bulls have signed EJ Lidell to an Exhibit 10 contract. This is after they signed Taylor Horton Tucker and Kenny Lofton Jr. to really similar contracts as well. This is going to be one of those contracts where it works out to where if they're going to go through training camp with the Chicago Bulls and EJ Lidell, and more than likely this is a path for him to be on the G League team. This is going to get him a little bit of extra money if he does end up going on that G League team with the Chicago Bulls, and that's why you see teams sign at this point in the season players like EJ Lidell, who were cut, who had some promise. Is still a very young player at only 23 years old, had some promise in this draft. Many people will remember is that EJ Lidell, in the year that he came out that draft, I was extremely high on him. If you go back and look at my draft videos in that year, in 2022 draft, I was extremely high on him. He ends up going in the second round. The Bulls instead signed Justin Lewis, who was a very similar player as far as body makeup and play style to EJ Lidell. But EJ Lidell has always been one of those players that had a higher upside. Right now, he hasn't gotten to show a whole lot of it. He tore his ACL the summer of his rookie year, ended up not playing any of that. Then coming into his second year with the New Orleans Pelicans, he didn't really play a whole lot there either. So it hasn't been like a huge sample size in regards to who EJ Lidell is or who can be. But this is the Bulls, once again, like they've been doing a lot this offseason, is getting somebody in here that's really young, that has some upside, that with the Bulls going younger over time, you can take a look at, have them come up through your system, develop them, and see what you have in them. If you look at the draft conversation around EJ Lidell, EJ Lidell was a player that came in with some ready-made offense, right? He's a really good defensive player as well, at least at college. But, again, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to turn into that at the NBA level. But this guy that had really good upside, he was drawing comparisons like an Eric Paschal, things like that. He's a solid athlete, not a jump out the gym athlete or anything like that. He doesn't have the great explosiveness. This is a guy that you can look at kind of like similar to a Torrey Craig if you look at kind of how they project over there, as far as the ceiling there. Solid three-point shooter, solid getting out in transition. He's a solid guy. He played at Ohio State, has a really long wingspan, even with being 6'7", has an over 7-foot wingspan. So he has that wingspan that players that like AK kind of likes in that case like that. And he had a really good collegiate career for Ohio State. But again, that does not mean that it's going to translate to the NBA. He did play in the Big Ten, so take that for what you will. This is another small, a short forward. So I know some people are already going to say, well, here goes AK again, getting short guys and not appreciating height. But EJ Lidell was a player that, like I said, I saw the ceiling there. And not saying that it has the ceiling of a starter or anything like that, but I do think EJ Lidell has the type of skill set that we've seen players turn into solid depth pieces for basketball teams. So, it remains to be seen if that's what EJ Lidell is going to realistically turn into. But the Bulls give themselves another bite at the apple. They get themselves and bring in a guy who could end up turning into, something. He could end up not. I think that, just admittedly, regardless of how high I was on the guy, there's a higher probability that he doesn't turn into anything at the NBA level. But the Bulls, again, getting a 23-year-old guy in here that has some really solid upside, and they're going to be able to see what he turns into. Again, this is more of a G League play. Having now Kenny Lofton Jr., Adama Sanogo, and EJ Lidell most likely going to be on that Chicago Bulls G League team, and with DJ Stewart there, this is going to be a physical team that tries to get out and run. Make no mistake about this. It's going to be really fun to see how physical the Windy City Bulls are this year. For those that don't know, I do have, during the G League season, I do weekly G League episodes, kind of recapping the week in the G League. So I'm excited about a signing like this, especially this being a guy that I was personally high on in the second round of that draft. And we'll see what he ends up bringing to the Chicago Bulls. Let's go and see how you guys are feeling about it. Kenan Peacock says, ready for the season, feeling strangely optimistic for some reason. Hey, we'll see, bro. We'll see. Jake Capone says, what up, my beige brother? I like this pickup. Solid. Again, solid pickup. Solid pickup. Not bad at all. He's decent. Yeah, really. Like, again, to put this in perspective, this is basically a signing for your training camp, but with the goal of him being on the G League team. For that, I'm not mad at the signing at all. I think that EJ Lidell has more than enough upside to where it makes sense for a team to want to take a shot at him on their G League team. I just think that that's a really good case and a really good scenario for a player like EJ Liddell, and we'll just see how that develops for him and the Chicago Bulls. And it could be nothing. And if it ends up being nothing, it's not like this is a big pickup to where it's going to throw you off or anything like that. So he got injured his rookie season and it set him back. That's a fact. He tore his ACL his rookie year. The Pelicans were actually, gave him I think it was like a 1-year guaranteed contract that year. And so it is what it is there. Trash. Nah, sorry, lemon pepper stuff is not trash. You got to actually look at stuff and go research. Haize don't play. He dropped soon as news hit. Listen, it is what it is, man. I don't play when it comes down to it. He may go to the G League. He's going to the G League. Make no mistake about it. This is him going to the G League. This is for him going to the G League. It just gets him a little bit of extra money. And keep in mind, so just so I can put this in perspective for everyone, the point of Exhibit 10 deals, sometimes that's the difference between you getting a guy on your G League team and not getting a guy on your G League team. Because let's say the Bulls just offered him an outright G League contract. Yeah, that gets him more money than what he would get. But by giving somebody an Exhibit 10 deal, them getting $60,000 extra dollars, which I know may not sound like a lot, but when you're making a G League contract, getting that little bit of extra money actually helps out a lot. And so this is basically like telling somebody like, hey, we want you on our G League team. To get you here, we're going to put you on this Exhibit 10 deal. You'll be able to go through training camp with us. And then when you do sign your G League contract, it's going to give you a little bit of extra money. That's all it is. Belleville, Illinois, or East St. I think it's more East St. Louis, which isn't really Illinois. Like East St. Louis is such a weird thing, right? Because like it's right there on the border of St. Louis, but it's technically in Illinois, but it's still more St. Louis than Illinois. Like it's not close to Chicago. It's still like 3.5 hours away from Chicago, but some people try to claim it, right? That's my little cousin. I'm a Liddell too. Shout out to King Kofu. Are y'all related for real? Honestly, I'm not even looking forward to the Bulls season. I'm more focused on my Bears. I see more upside there. Go Bears. Oh yeah, I mean, listen, the Bears have a legit chance to make a playoff run. Is he anything like when he was drafted? This is going to be a huge pickup. I won't say huge. Keep in mind, it's going to be a G League deal. We won't say huge, but this does have the chance to develop somebody, and maybe, especially next year, right, where we're looking to shed off some money. You never know what could happen. Hey, he's finally got one of the guys you wanted out of the draft, low key. That was the Dalen Terry draft, right? Yes, that was the Dalen Terry draft. But keep in mind, they drafted Modest Bucilis this year. Modest Bucilis was second on my list of draft prospects. So I got one of my guys this year. Now they go out and get a former guy that I really liked in a draft a couple of years ago. So, but yeah, EJ Lidell, solid pickup for what it is. Like I said, for what it is. That is the key word here. For what it is. In perspective there. So, he initially I think he got traded to the Pelicans with DeJounte Murray. So yeah, it is what it is. We'll see what comes out of this one, man. But yeah, overall, I like the deal. It's an Exhibit 10 deal. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I do think that ultimately, like you got THT, you got EJ Lidell, you got Kenny Lofton Jr., you also got Marcus Domask as well, who are on training camp contracts. And we'll see what happens there, man. We'll see what happens. He's not too small. Literally, he's 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan. We have people on our team that are smaller than him right now that are playing at the NBA level. So he can play small forward. He can play power forward. He can play small ball center. Is he anything like when he was drafted? Oh, I already read that one. This will be an exciting season to watch. I mean, it's gonna be fun. Like I said before, I don't know how many wins the Bulls are gonna have. That's not what I'm saying. But I will say this is that the Bulls are going to play a way more fun brand of offense, and we'll see what that translates to wins or not for the Bulls. But they are going to play a lot more fun brand of offense than what they played the last couple of years. Do you think of these signings as just to set up better future trades? I don't know that because if Exhibit 10 contracts you can't trade, right? It's going to turn into a G League contract. You can't really trade those either. So, I don't know if that's the case, but it could be. Do we know if he's fully recovered? Yes, he's fully recovered from the knee injury. So keep in mind, the knee injury was almost 2 years ago. He actually played a lot in the G League last season, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, let me look that up real quick. G League stats. Let's take a look. What did EJ Lidell do in the G League last year? So EJ Lidell last year played 26 games in the G League. In those 26 games, he had 18 starts. He averaged 26 and a half minutes per game. He averaged 17 points per game on 50% shooting, 27% from three, 7.5 rebounds, 1.7 assists, and 2 blocks per game. So again, I'm looking at this as a G League signing. Basically, it's just a longer way to get you there. The Windy City Bulls are going to be exciting. They're going to be exciting. Don't know for real, but we could be. I claim all the Dells because it's such a rare name. That's funny. Um, he's getting Draymond comparisons pre-injury. I think he's good value pickup, upside G League. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's upside, seeing what you can get out of it. I think Vooch could be a good defender if he could just take off his depth. That's crazy. Shout out to the shade on Vooch there. Are you going to do the call in tomorrow? So no. So the live call in was just a spur of the moment thing. I will be doing a mailbag episode though tomorrow. So call in, get your voicemails in, and if you get those voicemails in, I'll read them and do it like I did on today's mailbag. So if you guys want to get in, hold on, let me move the caption. Where's the comments? Let me go ahead and move that. So if you guys want to call in here on this or anything else, leave a voicemail and I'll play it on tomorrow's mailbag episode. But I don't think I'm going to do the live call in as much tomorrow. So make sure you guys stay in tune with that one. Really hoping that the youth the Bulls have will surprise me. Much watch anyway. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun season. 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan is nice. What's his weight? He weighed in last year. Let's see. Because the ESPN is never up to date. ESPN has him listed as, they don't even have his weight listed. Let's see. 240 pounds is what the last thing that I see for him as far as up to date. 240 pounds. Acme collecting guards and forwards like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Well, more guards than forwards. So the only big we signed, I don't know who he is. You don't know who, like EJ Lidell, solid. He was solid in college. Nobody got cut. This is a G League signing. It's Exhibit 10 contracts. Nobody got cut, brother. It's just an outright signing of EJ Lidell, who's probably, like I said, the Windy City Bulls are going to be exciting next year. And I don't know how often, this is not to sell you guys on a podcast. I probably do the only Windy City Bulls podcast consistently. But for somebody who does watch the Windy City Bulls and produces content on it, I think that the Windy City Bulls are going to be exciting next year. You got the potential of Marcus Domas being there. Of course, DJ Stewart, Kenny Lofton Jr., Adama Sanogo is going to be down there again. Now EJ Lidell, you add that to it. Maybe even THT is going to be down there on the Windy City Bulls. That's going to be a physical. Could you imagine having to, at some point, you're going to, as forwards or centers, you're going to have to guard Kenny Lofton Jr., Adama Sanogo, and EJ Lidell at all times. Those are physical forwards. So we'll see what happens there. 240 kind of heavy. I like to see him at 220. That's kind of his game, though. That's why people say he can play a small ball center. Milwaukee going to kill us down low. Well, listen, I mean, Milwaukee's going to kill most people down low. That's just it. The Bulls aren't at the place where they need to worry about beating Milwaukee. They need to worry about fielding a good basketball team. No, B-Money, you're the only bum here. I got enough bums with people like you showing up consistently. At least it's a team full of dudes. Billy will actually play. He's allergic to playing big man. Hey, that's something definitely to look at for. As much as we criticize Acme, got to say they're trying to build something. They're just taking a long route. I mean, listen, they're doing a lot to like bring in young talent to see how they develop. And there is something to say to that, right? Like the Bulls for so long have not really focused on development, it seems like. And I can't say for sure yet because we got to wait to see how it's going to evolve. But it seems like the Bulls are finally starting to try to put pieces to see what they can develop. And we'll see. Why does it seem like Chicago sports making good, competent decisions? Oh, bro, the White Sox are fucking, bro. Like, I hate that I'm a Bulls and a White Sox fan. Like, why did I have to grow up a fan of two goddamn Jerry Reinsdorf owned teams? That's crazy. What's up with Bulls' fascination with G League players specifically? What do you mean? You have to have? That's the whole point of the G League. What are you talking about? So are you saying why are they signing G League players to the G League team? I don't get the criticism there, brother. I don't get the criticism. You know, you my little brother. I don't get the criticism there. Who did they let go? They didn't let anybody go. This is a G League signing, Sydney. And what team did he come from? Well, technically the Hawks cut him, but he was traded there from the. He was originally on the Pelicans. So yeah. Yeah, he got drafted by the Pelicans in the second round. They actually signed him to a multi-year deal in 2023, and then he was included in a sign and trade with the DeJounte Murray pick, some shit like that. Like he's been a journeyman already. It is what it is. But yeah. So I mean, like I said, EJ Lidell, solid pickup for your again in the perspective of adding a G League talent. That's all this is. Oh, why they? I mean, you gotta put in. So at this point, Bulls Daily is that you at this point the Bulls are using the G League system as a developmental system. They're taking a shot at a lot of guys who have either flashed something or reportedly could be something, and they're putting because keep in mind a lot of people's G League teams are all kind of people who washed out. The Bulls right now are filling their G League team with people that with players that at one time scouts thought really have a chance to make the NBA. So they're really trying to actually develop some of those guys, is what they're doing. So are you optimistic about the Bulls' new look team? Yeah. I mean, to a degree. To a degree. Hey, and again, you'd be wrong. I literally said go back and look at the video in the second round. Come on now, B minor. If you're gonna be a dumbass, like publicly, if you're gonna show your dumbassery to the world, at least be a smart dumbass. Quote me right. Don't misquote me. Like it's bad enough that you're a minor. Like literally, your brain power is you said it in the name. You don't think very well. You're a fucking idiot. And so because of that, if you're gonna quote somebody, at least quote them right. That's the thing. At least quote them right. I can't wait to see the makeup of the team after the trade deadline. That's going to be interesting to see, definitely. How solid do you think EJ Lidell could be if he's able to make the main roster after getting time to develop in the G League? I can't say that because you got to see how he's going to develop in the G League. Right now, he has the skill set of a small ball forward that can do some stretching the floor. It definitely can get out in transition, and he has really good defensive instincts, but that doesn't mean anything necessarily. What's good, Vaughn? Glad to have you in the building. EJ is decent with a high potential. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's a low risk, high potential signing. What would it take you to nothing? If ever the White Sox leave Chicago, I'm a Cardinals fan at that point. I'm never going to be a Cubs fan. Never going to be a Cubs fan. The Bulls love watching Love and Hip Hop, a Buster Wash Up Chair. No, first of all, you your name is Lemon Pepper Stepper TV. Like, be more original. Like, stop coming in here bitching. Like, it's bad enough that your woman got to hear you and have you act like a bitch live in front of her face. Like, you're disrespecting the fact that your woman is the breadwinner in the household by coming in here and acting like a bitch about a basketball team. Like, the one manly thing you do is watch sports, and you act like a bitch about that. Like, you got to pick some area to be a bitch in. Like, don't be in the one thing that you manly. It's bad enough you already don't run your household. Stop running your mouth like a bitch in the comment section about sports. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. At some point, you got to cut out the bitchdom. Like, it doesn't make any sense to just be a bitch in every aspect of life. Like, have one thing that you at least could be competent in. It shouldn't be that hard, man. Do you think that we've given up on Justin Lewis? Yeah, I mean, Justin Lewis got cut last year. He's not even anywhere in the Bulls system. So, yeah, they definitely have given up on him. Yes, sir. The Cubs is out. Yeah, I can't. I don't think I can ever be a Cubs fan. I just don't think I could ever be a Cubs fan. I don't think so. Do you think EJ can be a better player than Patrick? Oh, I can't say that yet. Like that would be ridiculous for me to say that. Like Patrick Williams has shown at least to be a 3-and-D and double-digit point scorer in the NBA. EJ Lidell has shown that he can be solid at the G League level, but we haven't seen anything to show it at the NBA level yet. So I can't really say that. Right? I can't say that. Hey, he's cooking motherfuckers day. Listen, it's Saturday. We ain't even at the Lord's Day yet. Y'all can still catch this work. That's what you can do. But all right, y'all, man. We got a 20-minute video almost on EJ Lidell. I expected this to be like 10 minutes, but I love you guys, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following the show, man. If any other news drops, we drop. We got this video up 4 minutes after the news drop. That's to let y'all know. Stay in tune with us right here at Chicago Bulls Central. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well. You can follow us at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related